Okay.
I mean, did you want to put some filters?
Can we put filters on? Do we need them today?
Not those kind of filters. They're like the ones with like the
with the silly stuff.
Silly stuff.
Oh, okay. I was like, okay, is there one that makes us look like we're in glamour shots? That's the one I want. But no.
No. Well, they might have that one.
They probably have like the ones with like the bunny ears. I'm all set with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the is it dog?
Yeah, I don't know what the nose thing is. I'm not sure. It's supposed to be cute, but I don't really
never
know
understand
what it is.
My kids love that song.
Yeah.
I hate it. So
I don't understand. Hang on, they're telling more about people.
Cheers, sis.
Cheers to the Hobbit.
To the Hobbit.
To the Hobbit. Cheers. We should be drinking like ale or something.
We should be drinking ale. That should be over here.
But we'll just settle for a gin.
Or tea.
Yeah.
You have a fireplace right here.
I do.
He always has tea.
He does, yeah.
Fireplace.
I feel like I'm more like Gandalf when he comes in and he offers him tea and he's like, I think I'll have a big glass of red wine.
That's right.
He legit, it's like,
I need a big glass.
Yeah, and he's like, not even a small one. He's like, nope, I need like a big old mug of red wine. That's the only thing that's going to get me through this meeting with these 13 dwarves and a hobbit. Yeah. All right, okay, one more minute. We'll give people time to...
We don't need other people.
We don't. We entertain ourselves, so
we
it
just
doesn't
talk
matter.
to each other enough. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
We had like an hour conversation about The Hobbit today already.
Yeah,
and like about the movies versus the book, and like we had a whole
thing. Okay, but it is 8, so we can
go ahead
start talking about The Hobbit.
Biblio talk.
The
Hobbit.
Yeah.
So for those who might be joining us for the first time, this is the Book War.
We're it.
And we are together today.
Yay.
I'm here out east with my boys for the week. I'm Hannah. I'm the little sister.
And I'm Hattie. I'm the big sister.
And this month in August, is it August?
Yeah.
Yeah. This month in August, we are reading comfort reads.
We need them.
We do need them. These are books that, one that Hattie rereads quite often, and then another one later in the month that I reread quite often. So, our first installment of Comfort Reads is
The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Okay.
So I got to show everybody like the inside cover of my book
Go for it.
Okay, so this is just a copy of The Hobbit. That's how many times I've read this copy of The Hobbit.
Let's count. How many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So 6 times on this
almost
version.
Every 2 years.
Yeah.
You don't quite read it every year.
Not quite. Yeah, I read it last year though, and then again this year. But then before that, I did like 2 years in a row, 2 years in a row kind of thing.
It's about 2-ish.
Yeah. But I had a different edition, a different copy of this growing up that I read many times. It like went with me to camp and back on several occasions, and I kind of like missed that copy.
Of course you do.
But it was totally trash. I'm sure Dad like
threw it
away at some point and got himself a new set of the Lord of the Rings with the Hobbit in it. So anyway, this was my pick because obviously I reread it all the time because I love this story.
Okay, so tell us about why you love and why you identify in like
why I heart the Hobbit. Why I heart the Hobbit. Okay, so first off, we grew up watching this animated version. It was literally
Which is the best.
It's the best one. It really, really is. It is so old school. And it's maybe 45 minutes long? Maybe 45 minutes long. And it's completely animated. And it just like goes through, it's literally just Bilbo's story. And it sticks to the book. There's a couple big things missing, but you really do get like the whole picture. And we grew up like watching this.
That.
And we watched it a lot. It really was like
I really feel like I have that song that the goblins sing.
I know.
In the back of my head somewhere. As soon as I would hear it, I would
you're like, yes, that's the Goblin song. And that was the other great thing about it, is it had really good music in that old animated version. So anyway, that's what we grew up on, and then I, of course, fell in love with the story. I love Bilbo. Like, I really, really heart Bilbo. And I was saying to Hannah just earlier today, I'm like, I feel like part of that is that I identify with him. Yeah. I honestly identify with him. He is sort of this, like, diamond in the rough in the sense that he doesn't even really know his own capabilities, but at the end of the day, he really just kind of wants to go home and like cuddle up by the fire with his like tea, which is like, that's kind of what I want to do too, most days. At the end of the day, and like being that sort of homebody and loving that like just that comfort and that warmth, but at the same time sort of recognizing that like sometimes you gotta do stuff that makes you uncomfortable. and then finding it in himself to do that.
The courage, the innovation. He's very
clever. He just comes up with like these kind of like clever little plans that save the dwarves on multiple occasions. Everybody knows the story. I don't think I'm giving anything away. And then we were also just earlier today talking about the movies.
Yeah.
But I said a ton about the movies. But what did you think about the movies? Because I don't even think you actually answered. Got a word in edgewise.
I don't think I did. But it was okay because I don't have a really strong opinion on the movies. I don't think I ever actually watched. So the Lord of the Rings, I love. So this is not the Lord of the Rings conversation. We'll have to have that conversation.
That's a different
other day.
Yeah.
But just the Hobbit trilogy.
Just the Hobbit.
The Peter Jackson Hobbit trilogy. I was just asking Hattie her opinion, and I think I only ever saw the first two. I don't know that Lainell says I probably did, but I don't have any recollection of it.
It's just a big battle.
So
literally from start to finish.
So like it's just like every other battle
I know
scene. So like I have no idea if I saw it, but I did not love them. But I also don't have the same
like nostalgia and like
deep love for the Hobbit that you have.
The Hobbit, I love Bilbo so much.
You do, we were talking. I do think all the acting in the actors and the acting in it are very, 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 very good. Well done and good, and like the sets and all of that. Like what you're
visually is like really gorgeous,
visually beautiful. But I didn't connect to it. It didn't help me connect more to the Hobbit than the animated 45-minute one ever did.
Which is a classic.
We're gonna be kind of like the original Grinch, right? Like
yes, absolutely. Yeah. It's like it is just. It's classic. It's quintessential. It must be viewed. So go check it out. See if you can find it. I don't even know where you could find that anymore.
I think it must have been English. It must have come out of the UK.
Yeah. I got nothing.
I think it did. Well, we'll have to. We should actually.
We probably should look that up before the Biblio talk, but whatever.
And I have not quite finished it.
And lazy over here didn't even get it done.
Okay. Well, yeah, a little bit.
Just kidding.
No,
You're only a little lazy.
Yeah. I'm on 240 and it's
You're
just
close.
Over 300 pages.
Yeah. So what chapter are you in right now?
I got 50 pages.
Fire and Water. Okay, you're getting close though.
Yeah,
you're close.
I'm pretty close.
She's close.
That's the end.
Yeah.
So, my children did not leave me alone on the airplane enough.
So rude.
So,
she blames the kids. She blames the kids for everything.
Well, why not? That's what I had them for, right?
That's a good point.
I will say I'm glad to have reread it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I've read it since college.
Yeah.
And when I first read because that was when I first read the Lord of the Rings trilogy as well.
Because
that's when the movies came out. And I think I saw the first movie before I read it. I'm pretty sure
I actually saw the movie before I read it too, now that you say that. Because I was like, wait, what just happened? Like at the end, I'm like, of the movie?
Oh.
And they all just split up and they go in their own ways and that's the end? And I'm like, what?
Yeah. I think that's what happened to me too.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, now I have to read these.
I know, because like now I have to know what happens. Like I can't wait. That's insanity.
But I do think what's interesting or fascinating about this is, it is charming. Mm-hmm. It is a very charming story.
And The Hobbit is that in a way that Lord of the Rings is not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, if I'm going to reread one of them, if I want to live in the world of Tolkien, if I want to live in the world of Middle Earth for a little bit. And as Hattie said, you can read this faster than you can watch the 3 movies.
Legit. No joke. You can absolutely read this book more quickly than it would take to sit down and watch the trilogy, Peter Jackson's trilogy. That's a true statement. I'm not exaggerating.
But I think just for me, I'm not as... Yeah, it's just not...
You just don't have the nostalgia around it that I have.
Yeah.
But that's fair because guess what? I don't have the nostalgia around this bad boy.
And nobody has the nostalgia
that
around that bad boy except for me. I'm a weirdo about that book.
She's a weirdo.
I'm a super weirdo about this book. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm so glad to have reread it. Right? Like, I'm so glad
totally
to have
worth
read it again.
Reread.
It's totally worth the time to reread it. And no regrets. And I must have read it before though because there's stuff that's like, oh yeah, I remember that. And some of the stuff that's not in the animated.
There are a few things missing from the animated version, but it is still the best.
It is very, very good. So thanks for having me comfort read that.
Absolutely.
Some summer comfort.
And it's an easy read too. Like, it's easy read in a way that I think Lord of the Rings is not as easy to read. Okay, it's written for kids. It's basically like young adult lit.
Yeah,
like
it's
real easy.
Looking at publication stuff today about it, just because I was curious whether it was actually published before the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It was. 17 years actually before the Fellowship came out. But even in the publishing, it's like published as a children's book, and his children's book, The Hobbit. So yeah.
And it reads like that, so it goes like quickly, and like each chapter sort of its own like little story.
Little moment
and a little mini adventure almost. Because this is sort of just Bilbo's story, which of course then sets up the entirety of Lord of the Rings story. But it's neither here nor there in this story. You know, you don't have to know that at all. And it's just nostalgic, and I just love Bilbo. So I was very happy that we got to read that one again. Good. Well, that I got to read it again, and you got to read it. Well, again, but you hadn't read it for a long time.
But I hadn't read it for a long time. Mm-hmm. It's been a long time, I think. So, it was good.
It was good. Okay, so that was a good reread, comfort read for me. This one I'll let Hannah talk about, because this is her comfort read. This one we'll be talking about next time.
So at our next Biblio talk, which will be, I think it's in 2 weeks, I think it's the 4th.
28th probably.
Yeah, 28th. Good job. Is Neville Shoots A Town Like Alice. This is a deep nostalgia read for me. We saw this movie first in when we must have been in New Hampton at that point, I think.
I don't know that we could have watched that movie before we lived in New Hampton. We were like middle schoolers, and that's a pretty grown-up movie.
It's a pretty grown-up movie.
It's a grown-up story.
And so we watched the movie, and it was like a mini-series, so it's like 6 hours. It's super long.
It is really long.
I still have it on VHS and DVD, both bought by my father.
Of course.
As well as like almost every copy of the book.
Do you have a VCR?
Yes, we do.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, we do.
I was like, you have a VHS tape, but do you have a VCR?
No, we do still, because we still have the Disneys on. Now I don't need them because I have Disney Plus. Anyway, sorry, that's not.
We digress.
But this is a story about. It's a love story about 2 people during World War I, and it's based on some real events. It is not that real story, but based on this group of English women who were caught in Malaysia and actually ended up like walking across over and over and over again, and in a march.
Because they didn't know what else to do with them, right? It was
because they didn't know what to do with them.
So they just
group of English ladies. Anyway, so that's kind of where it starts, but it ends up. It's like such a.
It is a really convoluted story.
But it's beautiful. You go to London, you go to outback of Australia. Town Like Alice is Alice Springs, Australia. Although that's not where they actually live.
No, it's not.
But it is this story of these 2 people who meet then, and then like kind of how they, what happens if they go separate or not, and then if they come back together or not. So
because they meet in Malaysia, right?
Correct.
And then like she like goes back to England, and then he goes back to the outback. Yeah. Or no?
Well,
Okay, I haven't read it.
Sort of.
And apparently, maybe I didn't pay attention to the movie either.
But anyway, it's a very delightful book.
Hopefully, I didn't spoil anything.
It maybe is a spoiler. I don't know. It's not really a spoiler if I tell you it's a love story, is it? Because
I don't freaking know.
Okay.
Plus, is anybody gonna read it? Other than us, and we basically know the story. So
yeah, we know the story.
Even if we only sort of paid attention. Yeah, and she'll like explain it to me before our next one, so I'll actually know what I'm talking about.
But anyway, it's a wonderful tale, and Neville Shute, I find, I've read quite a few of his novels. He's just a really wonderful storyteller.
He is.
He spins a good yarn, as you say.
Why do you think this one like resonated with you as much as it did? Because like we watch it, we're about the same age. She's like 14 months younger. Yeah, 12 months, 14 months, however many. I don't even know now.
14 months younger than you.
Wow.
That gin and tonics goes.
Yeah, it's going straight to my head. And we watch it like together, right? I mean, granted, we have very different personalities, especially like surrounding like romantic love and all this sort of life stuff. But I'm just like curious, like, why do you think it hit you and resonated with you so much then?
Well, I think at that point it was just all because it was Australia.
Oh yes, that's right. Because she was super into Australia, and like,
still am in a lot of ways,
school,
but
But it was like a thing for you for a while.
But it was a real thing for me through probably like late middle and high school, like and anything Australian or about Australia, and particularly the outback. Like the outback was fascinating to me. Still is. So I think to begin with, that was the hook.
Why do you think it like has stuck with you? This because you read it like not too many years ago. We went to England and you read it then.
I read it on our radio.
And how did you find it then? Like so many years sort of like removed.
Like I still like it's. The narrator of this, Noel, is
the
actually,
best.
and I think he's kind of my Bilbo, right?
Yes,
like,
he's the one that you totally heart him. Yeah,
who also finds courage in himself to go and do some stuff that he didn't think he could do as this like English, a bachelor. Yeah, and so him as a narrator is really wonderful, and I actually really enjoy so this is set because it's after World War II, so it would be in the 40s and 50s.
Oh, is it World War? Well, you said World War One before.
No, I'm
Is it
sorry, it's World War II.
Okay, so yes, the late 40s.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry.
Yep. 1945.
Yes,
is the,
history's her.
Yeah.
That's why we have her.
late 40s.
But
or early 50s. I'm not sure exactly, but yeah.
But who the main characters are in both of this, and particularly the relationship between and the way that Neville Shute actually navigates the gender roles.
Sure. Yeah.
And the gender roles for these two characters, as well as the gender roles based on both of their in Australia versus England's expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Neville Shute does a really wonderful job with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like
navigating
that in a time period that's harder to sometimes navigate that, and that people kind of fall into these like ruts.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. They don't. His characters don't fall into those kind of things. There's a lot of tension around that, which
You're
me.
right.
I love me some tension.
She does. That's kind of her favorite.
I know. I love a book that's like not.
It's not too clean cut.
Easy.
Yeah. That is really true. Oh my gosh, you guys. Oh my gosh. Like, the more devastating the book, the more Hannah's gonna love it. Like, not even a joke.
Yeah.
That's not a joke. Yeah.
So, yeah. Mm-hmm. And I do love that it's like on 3 different continents and.
Oh, I know, and it is sort of like all over the place. And you're right, I forgot about the narrator being Noel, and he is fantastic. I've only seen the movie, but he narrates the movie. It's him sort of telling the story, and he is really fantastic.
But it's him telling the story of her telling him the story.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's so convoluted.
It's a really convoluted, but it works.
It does.
And that's it works.
It
so
does.
I ended up telling, for those of you who might not know, but I'm a pastor, and so I was talking about stories that like are foundational stories for us, and like most of us have a couple of those from our childhood, like a book or a movie or even a song. Like some songs are like really deep stories, like the Yellow Submarine. Like I don't mean that like rudely. We just sing it as a silly thing sometimes, but like I think for some people, like there are songs that are just really foundational. And I was talking about this book, and about like 4 of my parishioners went and bought it, and they were all like, "That was a really good book." Like I'm like, I don't expect anybody to love this book like I love it, because it's just
there's more to it for you than just like going out and loving the book. Yeah.
So.
Anyway, so more on that one next time.
Yeah, sorry, that was a lot.
We didn't even talk about that since we weren't even talking about that.
We weren't supposed to be talking about that one,
but we do have a fun thing that we want to do that we haven't done before. So we'll see how this goes. We went to the bookstore today.
We went to the bookstore. We went to Hattie's.
We went to my bookstore, Commonplace Reader. Commonplace Reader,
Independent
independent bookstore, downtown Yardley, Pennsylvania. And Hannah went in. We are both guilty of this. So Hannah went in, and she's got her twins with her. She got 2 little twin boys, and they're like 7 years old, and they're kind of into books. Like one of them's super into books, and the other one's like sort of into books.
He's mostly into anything I'll buy him, but
yeah, like most 7-year-olds. And so we go in there, and they flew here. So Hannah's all like, "Okay, everybody can just get one book because we gotta like pack them to get home." And she included herself in this. She made that very clear that she was allotted one book. I went in. And I was supposed to get 1 book for George, for my husband, and then 2 other books for my fall reading list. And that's what I was going to get.
So 3 books total.
So 3 total, yeah. So I will narrate my adventure in the bookstore, and then you can narrate your adventure in the bookstore. So I go in, it's going great. I go up to the desk. I knew the one that my husband wanted was not going to be in stock, so we put that one on order. No problem. Then the other one that I asked for, which they had on hand for my fall reading list, is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I just read her newer one, which was The Daughter of Dr. Moreau.
Oh, she wrote that one. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yep, and I just finished it. I think I just reviewed it. I think
you have said that to me like 3 times, and I just still have not. I just saw the book picture. Book review.
Yeah, because I just reviewed it like this week or last week. I just read it, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting. I saw it on a book list for romance books, and it was after I read it, and I'm like, really? So I didn't get that out of it, but maybe some people do. I wouldn't have categorized it as a Gothic romance, but apparently somebody did. So anyway, I picked this one up. So yay, they had this one.
Yep.
And then the other one that I went in to get is called the Hacienda, which it's out there now. So many of you have probably seen it, but they didn't have it in stock. So we put that one on order.
And I will say I have read this book, and it is very good.
And it's very good. Okay, excellent. And I'm really looking forward to that one for my fall reading. And La Hacienda.
I'm not a Gothic reader, but I enjoyed it.
So those are the 3 that I went in for. But then, of course, I'm in a bookstore. So
We were only going to come home with one.
I would have been sad. That would have been a sad thing. So this book is one that I've had my eyes on. Hannah read it.
I just finished it.
Believe it or
will
not,
come out later this week.
Look at that big fatty. So big. It's like almost 800 pages long. But I've heard I've only heard amazing things about this book. So I had to have this when it was in paperback, which I was so happy about. So Love Songs of W.D. Du Bois by Honore Fannin Jeffers. So I picked that one up, so I'm really excited about that.
And my book review is coming out on that, I think, Thursday. I think that one's coming out Thursday.
I will have to take a look at that. See and then this was like for fun because it just looked really fun. And I think it's actually a series because it's called the Kopp Sisters novel. So that would sort of imply that there's more.
Yeah.
And it is called The Girl Waits with Gun. No, just Girl Waits with Gun by Amy Stewart. And honestly, it just looked like a real fun, like a little mystery story. Like sometimes you just need something light and fun and interesting. So I picked up that one. So that was my haul. That was my book haul for the day, Hannah.
So
what one book did you pick out, Hannah?
My one book is just this one. It's just this one.
Oh, that's just one big fatty. Oh no.
No, it's 3 books.
Okay.
We ended up coming out with 7 books. 3.
They're supposed to get 3.
So anyway, the first one I did though it's such a beautiful cover. This is just an absolutely gorgeous cover. The Chosen and the Beautiful, and it is a novel. It's a debut novel. And it is a kind of a redo of The Great Gatsby. So that's really interesting. And it's...
I love this. It says immigrant, socialite, magician.
Like there's this whole magical piece to it too.
I didn't realize. That's going to be great.
And she's a queer character, which is great. And yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. It just sounds... reinvents this classic of the American canon as a coming-of-age story full of magic, mystery, and glittering excess, and introduces a major new literary voice. So
that does sound super exciting. I might have to read that if that's good.
Nevo, maybe? I'm
sorry.
Nevo?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Not sure.
I should have looked that up.
Yeah.
Sorry. And then this was one I've actually had my eye on. Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. I bought this for my nephew for Christmas, and I've been trying to get him to let me borrow it. And
look at all those awards.
He hasn't. So I just got it finally.
So just bought it first.
Yes.
It's got a ton of awards.
It is also a book with queer characters.
Is it young adult?
It is young. This is young adult. I didn't mean to do that with that in a negative way. This is young adult.
Yeah. I didn't even do it in it. I was like, is that young adult?
And it's about 2 young men who are crossing the Mexican border, if I remember correctly. Don't completely hold me to that. I may be wrong.
She read the thing a while ago. Now she's not sure.
I read the back a while ago, and that's what I thought it was. Now I'm not sure. And then this is just this. Honestly, I bought this book because of this.
Oh, and it was by T.J. Klune.
Yeah,
a transformative marvel. I loved this book. T.J. Klune, who wrote
The
House on the Cerulean Sea.
So
which we love.
Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Akai. And this is a woman made a deal with the devil to escape damnation. She must entice 7 other violin prodigies to trade their souls for success. And she has already delivered 6. So, yeah. It just I was like, okay.
Yeah, first off, if TJ Klune loves it, we're kind of fangirls there.
I'm a super fangirl, so I'm going to give it a shot. So I'm looking forward to that, too. I'm trying to decide if this was a debut. No, I don't think so.
It's a Hugo Award finalist, national bestseller, Indie Next Pick.
Alex
is that young adult?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, definitely not. No.
No.
Too many words.
So it also is a beautiful cover.
And this is a fish, in case you guys couldn't tell.
Oh, yeah, it's a koi fish.
I didn't even notice that until I was looking at it really close just then.
What was I going to say? Oh, I was going to say, covers get me. Like, for real.
Yeah.
The people who do covers, and I have to say, I've really been liking these, really soft ones like this.
The texture on them. Yeah, you're right.
I like those.
That is a nice texture on that.
So those are the 3 I got, and then I got 4 books for my kids.
So book haul.
Anywho,
we love it.
We do.
Yeah, we love our books. Okay, so I think that pretty much wraps up what we wanted to touch on tonight. And hopefully you guys are getting some reading in, some comfort reads here in August while we still maybe have a little bit of time before school starts up. Although already this week I have noticed a few first day of school pics on social media.
Oh.
No joke. Yeah.
Wow.
No joke. And our niece,
Sam
started her, because she's a senior in high school, but she's taking a few college classes.
Yeah.
And those college classes, I think, started on, what day is it today? Monday.
Monday.
I think today maybe. Yeah, I think maybe today she's starting actually.
15th. Wow.
Yeah.
That's early.
Yeah. So at least some kids
Colleges are starting,
to go back to school.
But
so hopefully you get a little reading, some comfort reads in before school
some
starts.
Summer comfort.
And some summer comfort. Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. This probably won't get out on our YouTube page until I get home.
Oh yeah, you're probably right.
Sorry about that. But
Sorry.
Yeah, it is what it is.
It'll be here on Instagram anyway.
It'll be on Instagram and
yeah.
Thanks for joining us as always, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Have a good Monday night, everybody.
Yep. Bye.